Let's talk about keeping the bar high. If you're involved in church leadership, you know there can often be a lot of tension around how much pressure we should put on people. Should we raise the bar of expectation or lower it? Most of our people are busy people. They're juggling all the demands of life, trying to do their best and get ahead. And then we come along and ask them to commit to all sorts of programs and pathways so they can grow in their faith, help build the church and change the world. And if you're in church leadership, you probably really care about people. And as much as you want them to grow, you don't want to see them experience too much stress and pain. And that's where the problem can lie. Sometimes we end up lowering the bar when we should actually be keeping it nice and high. There's a great story in Luke where Jesus is in the boat with his disciples and they're caught in a great storm. The disciples are fearing for their life, wondering how Jesus could be asleep, and so they wake him up. Luke chapter 8, verse 24. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Master, Master, we're going to drown." He got up and rebuked the wind and the raging waters. The storm subsided and all was calm. "Where is your faith?" he asked his disciples. And in fear and amazement they asked one another, "Who is this? He even commands the winds and the water, and they obey him." What do we learn from this story? Well, discipleship is demanding. The disciples had all agreed to get in the boat, which meant leaving the shore behind and launching out into something new. You know, as leaders, we are called to invite people to a new life of growth and discovery. And that means some old priorities will have to change. We learn that comfort is overrated. Jesus was obviously more concerned about his disciples' faith than about their comfort. He allowed them to feel the pressure to teach them to grow in their faith. He didn't avoid it because he knew pressures cause us to stretch and discover strengths and capacity we didn't know were there. He didn't lower the bar. He kept it nice and high. And we see the results are always worth it. Ultimately, the disciples grew to be incredible men of faith that God used to build the church and to spread the gospel. They were placed under great demand, but that demand created great faith. Every time they were stretched, they had a new revelation of Christ and a greater confidence in all that he could do. As leaders committed to growing disciples, let's not lower the bar to fit into our own comfort zones. Let's do what Jesus did. He didn't force them or drive them into the ground. He invited them to join him on a journey where the expectations were high, but the rewards were even higher. And remember, great people want to grow. They want to learn how to jump higher. So if you set the bar too low, they'll simply find somewhere else where it's set a little higher.